In today's review, we have a feminine witch mech pretending to be an assassin, some pretty cool conventional weapons, and the weapons that are typically found in isekai settings. With that said, there is nothing for it. What is going on, guys? MJ1005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 30-minute mission Spinatia Assassin Type and the Witchcraft weapons, the somewhat counterintuitive assassin with bright colors and the weapons that accompany its release. Now, since this kit is just the previous Spinatia with different colors and armaments, make sure to check out the Spinatia Fencer Types review for a more in-depth look at the unarmed mech. That said, this kit reuses 7 runners from its sister, as well as 2 new ones for the assassin armor. Needless to say, the build is simple, straightforward, and effective, and hence friendly to anyone who wants to try it out. I will say this before decking it out, however, the color scheme is duller. The light grey barely differentiates itself from the white, so it looks blank in comparison compared to its sister unit. However, the color scheme makes it easier for people to paint over it without primer, so I won't hold that against it. Though not recommended, it still helps for builders who just got into painting and want to test the waters before investing into the paints and aerosols. The visor still glows under UV light, which is a nice bonus. In terms of handling, my copy has overly tight joints, which does hamper the fun in posing and playing with it, but overall, it stays together very well. For accessories, you have the same hands as the previous model and the need to swap hand covers onto the ones in use. Moving on, we have the assassin armor, and you equip it by plugging the parts into the various hardpoints and clips on the body. Thankfully, the lack of shoulder armor meant that there's no need for part swapping, which streamlines the whole process. The final silhouette looks edgy and overall looking busier than the Fencer equivalent, but it doesn't necessarily make the Spinatia look fiercer, as it looks like an early teenage girl wearing a pink witch Halloween costume, especially with the rear armor that is designed to look like a bow. But that can be somewhat fixed with a custom color scheme and better utilization of the hardpoints and pegs on the armor for different configurations. For weapons, you have a set of akimbo pistols which do have a fair amount of detail. You can slide them into the hands for use, and while the kit doesn't come with any suppressors for maintaining stealthy combat, they look cool nonetheless. You also have a set of daggers stored securely in the rear antennae and can be slid into the hands for nimble, stealthy combat. Should you choose, the shoulder and shoulder armor joints, clip adapter, and an extra basket attachment is left over for extra customization options. Which brings me to the Witchcraft weapon set, and since this kit looks more witch-like than assassin-like, it's arguably the perfect weapon set for it. Let's firstly take a look at the pole and its extension parts. To start, we have the effect parts, a whip, rapier, and a sword blade. You can plug them directly onto the square hole to square hole adapter, which is imperative that you don't lose it, or as it's officially displayed, plug them onto the wing leg extension. They all have their own merits, but just like the tonfas of the Blazing Gundam, it feels weird to have blades coming out of the ends of this weapon. Plugging the adapter onto the top though, makes them a whole lot better. You can also swap them for a scythe head if that's what you fancy. It's a scythe of manageable size with style, and can definitely work well on many of your edgier builds. Finally, you can replace the scythe head with either the ring or the wing extension with interchangeable crystals to turn this into a magic staff. It's outlandish to equip a mech with such an accessory, especially if you haven't watched Knights and Magic yet, but it's what makes this weapon set unique among others, and now we can actually make Gundams that fit in typical isekai settings. To double down on the magic theme, there are open hands for you to plug a magic rune into it to simulate it casting a spell, and it does look very cool. However, the included hands are in grey, so you need to repaint them to make the colors cohesive with the Spinatia units. That, and sadly, only one rune is included. Lastly, you have a round shield with quite a bit of detail, especially on the underside, and it can be plugged onto any 3mm hole. Moreover, you can plug the rune onto the underside of the shield to expand it, and the shield has a hardpoint on the surface, so you can customize it further. All effect parts glow under UV light, so they're staying consistent with that feature. And even though that's all the inclusions, there are countless things you can do with this set if you put your imagination to it. To wrap things up, I don't need to reiterate on the looks for the unarmed Spinatia, and the new weapons and armor do look nice. The colors aren't the strong suit however, but these kits are made for painting, so I will not judge too much. Articulation is the same as its sister and the armor stays on well, but some parts just hold on too well, subsequently causing posing to be a bit of a hassle. Not much more I haven't said last time about the build: simple, effective, universal, playable, and customizable. So knock yourself out building your own original custom with the assassin armor and armaments. Costing at 1280 yen without tax, it's the same price as the last one, so for surface contents, it's all down to preference. If not, it is totally worth getting this for playing around and customizing, especially if you have the other Spinatia. Overall, the Assassin type averages a 9.75 out of 10, so it's a 100% recommendation. As for the Witchcraft weapons, the effect parts look a little bit dodgy attached to the bottom of the pole, but otherwise everything looks nice and are unique to everything we've seen from mecha before. Everything stays together very well, and it's a simple, fun, and customizable set. Costing at 500 yen without tax, it's a very cheap set to get to give your model kits a witch/wizard theme, or if you want spiced up versions of existing weapons, for example the scythe, that is possible as well. Overall, despite not being able to use everything in the set at once, it's still a pretty good set to purchase. Averaging a 9.75 out of 10, this is also 100% recommended, and I dare say more so than the Spinatia itself, as we don't often get mechs that adopt a magical theme. So that basically wraps it up for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and all that kind of stuff. Turn on notifications for future content alerts if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next video. Hang loose and peace out.